everyone. We're going to officially get started. I appreciate your patience. We're new at this. This is our first one. So I want to welcome everyone here today to the first annual Taking Flight Hope for the Future Scholarship Award Ceremony for Avis Grace Scholarship Foundation. I really appreciate you all spending a summer Saturday here with us. It's very cool to have this kind of attendance. And Carrie and Mackenzie, I'm especially proud and humbled to spend today with you. My name is Stephanie Regannon, and I'm the founder of Avis Grace Scholarship Foundation. The first thing I have to say is, we did it. Today is really one of the proudest days of my life, and I'm really so happy to spend it with you. I've been waiting for this day for more than 2 years. I've been thinking about what these girls would look like, girls or boys, we just happen to have girls, what they would look like, what their name would be, where they're going, what their families would be like, and I can't believe today is here. And so while I'm a little nervous, there's a real peace in knowing that today is finally here. Today is a culmination of volunteer hours, board service, many long nights, forging a way through uncharted waters because we, and specifically I, did not know exactly what we were doing, but also the gracious assistance, support, guidance, help, shoulders where I was maybe crying, and generosity of so many. Most importantly today is about hope. And by the way, please eat. Please eat. I'm the one that you should interrupt while eating, not our speaker, so please eat. I do have to kick this off today by thanking many people, just a few of the dozens who have helped get us here. Hey, my nerves are gone now, so great. No problem. There are a ton of people to thank, and I'm only going to take the time to do a handful, honestly, but anybody that I miss, it is not meant to offend. It's just for time's sake. First, I want to thank our corporate sponsors. Brian Cave, law firm here in St. Louis, is our main sponsor today. Stephanie Hostler is a woman who, I think she's coming, I'm not sure if she's here yet. She and I met through the 40 Under 40 Award through the St. Louis Business Journal just in January. So this is not a long-term friendship or connection, and she had her firm be our main sponsor, which I thought was really a wonderful thing. So I want to thank Brian Cave. I also want to thank Waste Management. I've been with Waste Management almost exactly 2 months, and they are one of our main corporate sponsors. I think that says a lot about them as a company, and my colleague James is actually here today representing them, and so I really want to thank Waste Management. I want to thank 31. 31 is a company, I don't know how to describe them other than to say really cute and cool handbags and makeup bags, and one of my mom's former volleyball players is one of their independent salespeople, and she decided to sponsor our event today on behalf of 31. So I'd really like to give a hand to our corporate sponsors. Next, I would like to thank our host committee. With the support of these 12 families and individuals, we were able to make today a free event for not only the girls, but their families, and that was very important to me. We were also able to give discounted tickets to anyone that wanted to come from their high schools. It was very important to me that this be a day of celebration, not a day where we're raising money necessarily. You'll notice today is not a fundraiser. It is a day of true celebration of the work we as a board and volunteers have put in, and it's a true celebration of these girls. And that was important to me. So through the help of our corporate sponsors and the host committee, we were able to make that possible, and I really, really want to thank them. Next, I have to mention our board of directors. I wish I had the time to speak to you and about you as individuals, but please know how much I appreciate you taking this journey with me and how much these girls undoubtedly appreciate you doing the same. I know most of you thought I was crazy when I called you in April of 2010 and said, I'm going to do this, and would you like to be on the board, or would you like to be an event chair? And I'm just certain most of you thought she's completely lost her mind at this point, because I know Jason did, but he smiled and said, okay. But you stood up and you did it anyway, whether you were my friends or you were acquaintances of mine through work. And we've made mistakes, but we've come a long way. We've learned a lot, and again, we did it. And I just really want to thank the board today. So if you would stand up and please be recognized so we could give you a hand. Okay, one of the first organizations I met with and has continued to guide and advise Ava's Grace is the Scholarship Foundation of St. Louis. Maria Rebecki and Faith Sandler have shown a faith in me that quite frankly was probably undeserving back in April of 2010 because I was very green, and by green I do not mean environmental, I mean clueless. And they took me under their wing, they took us under their wing, and they have just been absolutely wonderfully supportive, and I can't tell you how much that has meant to me. They believe in serving children who are typically underrepresented in higher education, and so therefore our desire to target children of the incarcerated falls right into what they believe, and they really have done a lot to support us. We are very blessed by this partnership. Your face to the world is your website and your marketing materials. Christy Fuston of Fuston Creative is a Kansas City native, and she currently resides in San Diego. She has walked with me every step of the way as our marketing person, from designing our logo to designing our website to all of these beautiful things that you see around here today. The logos, the colors, the feel of Ava's Grace, that was all her. She put my vision and my desire that it put out a message of hope. She put those things into a tangible form, and I can't thank her enough. She also is the one that told me that Ava means like a bird, and hence was how we came up with the scholars taking flight. Some of you know that I'm actually terrified of large birds, which is really funny. These are nice, pleasant, small birds that we're referring to. Houston Brayton is a web developer who has volunteered many hours to this organization in creating and maintaining our website. He actually worked with Christy Fuston on the design and the layout. And if any of you have been to our website, I think it looks phenomenal. And your ability to pay online and all of those things that bring you into the 21st century that I am clueless about, he has done for us, and he has done with zero pay and does it with a smile on his face. Houston is the son of Denny and Renee Brayton. And speaking of the Braytons, Denny and Renee have been there for me and my family through thick and thin and back again for as long as I can remember, as in pre-legal drama, pre-foundation, even pre-college for me, and I've been out almost 15 years. The Braytons are the kind of rocks you hope are in your corner when the world comes crashing down. I really can't say enough other than to just say thank you, Denny and Renee. They're also Ava Grace's godparents, which is the best way we could think to honor them for all they've done for us. I have to thank work. Yeah, I have to thank my employers and my bosses here today. John Coppert of the National Corn to Ethanol Research Center, Nanette Lockwood of Solutia, and actually all my colleagues at Solutia, and now my current employer, Waste Management. All of those companies and bosses have been so supportive of me throughout this ordeal and this foundation for the past 2 years, and they have supported me in that they've given me time to do things during work hours. They've also supported this foundation financially. And in these tough economic times, to work for companies who appreciate your personal life and appreciate your passions and support them is really invaluable, and I just want to thank all of my employers. Some of you may know the name Judge Jimmy Edwards. He's a juvenile court judge in St. Louis who has taken a different approach to crime and juvenile delinquency in our community. He's doing something about it rather than just sentencing our youth to long prison sentences and thereby ensuring their reoffending. He has also started a school here in St. Louis for kids who have had problems. He is present, he is brutally honest, and he is extremely compassionate. People magazine named him a Hero of the Year this past year, and that's significant that despite his newfound fame, he took a meeting with little old me and my mom. He still works in the trenches every day, and he has pledged his support to partner or anything we need in the future. He has pledged that to our little foundation, and he's not here today. He had another obligation, but I just want to publicly thank him because we're kind of little people, and he's really this famous, cool guy now, and he still takes my phone calls. So, Kathy Lambert of Connections to Success. Kathy is a relatively new face in the timeline of our foundation and in our lives. You can thank Kathy for the delicious cookies you're going to take with you in your gift bags. They're not fat-free, I'll just say that right out of the gate, but they are phenomenal. And today, we had no extras for Jason to take home, but over the golf tournament we did, and Jason was in heaven for like days. I would like to personally thank Kathy for the friendship she immediately gave to my mom upon her arrival here in St. Louis last summer, and also for her enthusiasm for our foundation and all of their assistance. Kathy, if I could bottle your ideas and positive energy and give it to the world, we would be living in a better place and getting more things done. So I thank you. Flossie Henderson is recognized as a college access professional by her peers. She has decades of experience in education and managing grants focused on creating college-going cultures in schools and communities where college is not considered a viable option. Her credentials would impress any of you in this room, but to me, she has been a role model, a friend, a mentor, and advisor, and this foundation has been very blessed by her assistance. So thank you very much, Flossie. Last, and this is what it boils down to for me, is family. I have said from the beginning, the only way I got through the darkest hours of the last 7.5 years was the strength and the foundation I had been given to by my family and our friends who are like family. My mother held us together even from afar. My stepdad, Steve, stood solidly beside her through thick and thin and is still there today. My uncle and his family, as well as Jason's family, made every holiday and special occasion all that it could be, despite the circumstances, and that meant a lot, especially after Ava was here. There's nowhere to begin to describe the depth of support my husband Jason has given to me. He is a super dad. He is an errand runner for me. He's a cheerleader, and he's the best father and husband I know. I got very lucky, and he never gets near enough credit for what he's done for me personally and for this foundation, and today I especially want to thank him. And little Ava, the sweet terrorizer of our household. It was her existence that spawned this foundation, and she's the inspiration for all that I do. So, again, please forgive me if I missed anyone. It was not intentional, but we do have a time limit today, and you definitely came here to do more than hear me ramble. So, on with the next piece. Throughout the 2 years I've been hitting the pavement on behalf of Ava's Grace, I've had a few meetings where I have left so inspired I felt like I could climb a mountain. And, you know, if you had more of those meetings, if you had them every day, you wouldn't appreciate them as much as you do when you actually do have them. Having said that, there should be more people like our speaker in this world. Dr. Ken Parker is an associate professor of historical theology at St. Louis University. He has a PhD in divinity from University of Cambridge, and he spent 5 years as a Benedictine monk. 5 years ago, he started the immensely successful SLU College and Prison program down at a maximum security men's facility in Bonne Terre, Missouri. That is only a portion of his resume. To me, he is a man who gets it, and that's why it was important to me that he be our speaker today. He gets the issues surrounding our justice system. He gets the plight of inmates and their families, and he gets that education is the key, the critical piece to breaking this cycle. I feel so lucky to have met Ken, and I'm honored he accepted our invitation to speak here today at our first ever awards ceremony. So please help me welcoming Dr. Ken Parker.
I'm deeply honored to be here today. I want to thank Stephanie Reganin for this opportunity to be the first speaker at what I know will be many awards luncheons for the Ava's Grace Scholarship Foundation. Our primary purpose here today is to celebrate two extraordinary young women who are destined to make a mark for good in the world. I want to speak to you about Carrie Hill of Webster Groves, Missouri, and Mackenzie Lockett of Princeton, Missouri. Please stand. so everyone can congratulate you on this wonderful achievement. You're the reasons why we're here, and so we want to celebrate you here at the very beginning. Because we celebrate them today, I want you to know a bit about what makes them extraordinary and worthy of praise and honor. This is an academic scholarship they are receiving, and as a university professor, grades matter. So you should know that these two young women have grade point averages that I aspired to but never achieved in high school. In fact, they are at or near the top of their classes at their schools, a remarkable achievement that I envy. In my high school days, that was enough to distinguish students and make them suitable candidates for an award like the Ava's Grace Scholarship. Yet, they have not stopped with academic achievements. These are not just bookworms like I was. They are out in the world making a difference. In addition to being a member of the National Honor Society and receiving an academic letter, Ms. Lockett has been an active member and officer of the Family, Career, and Community Leaders of America. In that work, she has developed exceptional skills as an organizer, speaker, and persuasive leader. She initiated a blood drive this year that was very successful. Wanting others to experience the success she has achieved, Ms. Lockett is also the president of Peer Helpers. She has even found time to engage in part-time work and learn through that experience the practical skills that it takes to make a difference in the world. Ms. Hill's awards and accomplishments are numerous. Please forgive me, Carrie, if I miss a few. Of course, she has been consistently on the honors roll through high school, but she has also received the YW Teens Youth Leader Award, the Renaissance Award, the Scholar Athlete Award, Softball Leadership Award, Service Award, Top Hat Award, and the Yale Book Award. And did I mention that Carrie Hill was also Miss Webster Groves of 2011? How does one achieve so much recognition so young in life? Like Miss Lockett, Miss Hill is self-giving and motivated to help others. Her volunteer activities are numerous. She works for the Kids Under 21 organization and the Webster Groves Garden Club, as well as doing volunteer work through the National Honor Society and the St. Louis Gateway Classic Foundation. She has taken a leadership role in teaching younger children about drug prevention through the High Step program. By the way, she forgot to mention that on her application. Here are some of the adjectives used to describe our honorees. Ms. Lockett's recommenders described her as an excellent student, very active and enthusiastic. She is responsible, dependable, a person of integrity and honesty. Passionate and a source of encouragement to others, Ms. Lockett is also well-rounded with great capabilities. For all of this, she is also kind and mild-mannered. She has a respectful attitude, a positive demeanor, is sincere, and a person with drive. If these qualities are not enough, Ms. Lockett has also been an asset to her school's athletic programs, a scholar who motivates others, and a goal-oriented person. Ms. Hill's recommenders clearly enjoyed writing their letters. One referee made the observation that out of 100+ letters she would write this year, the words extraordinary, impressive, and excellent apply to Ms. Hill in ways that they apply to none other, because she's special. One veteran teacher observed that out of thousands of students she has worked with over 2 decades, our honoree today has made the greatest impression on her. I learned from her reference letters that she has a beaming smile, which we're enjoying today. She is a leader and a compassionate young woman. She is consistently committed to making positive contributions in the classroom and exhibits a quiet confidence about her intellectual abilities. Did I mention that she has a near 4.0 average? Miss Hill is a bundle of energy and with an amazing spirit. She is described as loving her family, her school, and her community. In her role as Miss Webster Groves, she has made numerous speaking appearances and reached out to improve her community. Her reputation as a vivacious dynamo follows her in everything she does, whether it is as drum major for the 100-member marching band, working at the suicide prevention hotline, or contributing to her high school's literary magazine. All I can say is, wow. What more can be said about 2 amazing young women? Well, a great deal more could and should be said, but it is their story, not mine to tell. But one thing that I can say, because of the nature of the scholarship they are receiving, they both have one parent who is incarcerated. That fact, as their applications reveal, has more than anything else been a force in their young lives. Many thousands of girls and boys grow up with this life challenge, but many make different choices. Miss Hill and Miss Lockett have been fortunate to have encouragement and support from other family members who have believed in them and motivated them in their struggle to believe in themselves and not to allow their childhood tragedies, painful as they were, to define who they are or who they can be. I would like for those family members and community members who have supported them through this process to please stand so that we can acknowledge them today. Would you please? I want you to know that your love and encouragement has made all the difference. Both candidates made that clear today in their applications. But there is another young woman's story that I can tell. It is the story of Stephanie Reganin. Without her experience, Ava's Grace Foundation would not have come into existence. Without her desire to make a difference, these first awards of the foundation would not be available to our worthy honorees today. This has been an ambitious project, which is birthed in the pain of dealing with the reality of having a parent arrested, tried, convicted, sentenced, and served time in a federal prison. The fact that Stephanie's mother was innocent and wrongly convicted, as we now know, did not lessen the impact and devastation that she felt. Although she is a grown woman from a stable, supportive family, with multiple degrees, a successful career, and a strong sense of her place and status in society, this tragedy turned her world upside down. As she struggled to find a way forward, she discovered a crisis that she did not know existed in our society, the crisis of incarceration in the United States, and its devastating impact on children of those who are incarcerated. In order to redeem an evil in her life, she chose to respond to the needs of others rather than sink under the weight of her despair. She chose to develop a foundation that would assist children of women and men who are incarcerated and break the cycle of intergenerational incarceration. Please acknowledge her as we celebrate the first fruits of her labor. Would you please stand? We also want to acknowledge the presence of her mother, Debbie, today. I can appreciate the difficulties, the challenges that you've gone through over the years, Debbie, as you've worked to defend your innocence and your wrongful conviction. So congratulations to you on that. And I hope it's some consolation in the midst of so much struggle. I mentioned the incarceration crisis in our society. It is important that we understand what that means. The United States has 5% of the world's population. We have 25% of the world's prison population. 1 in every 100 adult Americans is behind bars. 1 in every 31 adult Americans is in prison, on probation, or parole. In the state of Missouri, 35 years ago, we had 3,000 people in our prisons and 7,000 people on probation or parole. Today we have 31,000 people in prison and 75,000 people on probation or parole. This is a devastating commentary on our society today. We need to be very conscious of the fact that what those figures represent in terms of human life and potential, and why we as a society need to be conscious and caring about those who are incarcerated. But it's not just about them, it's also about their children. For many millions of children live with the experience of having one or more parents who are behind bars. We also need to remember that 97% of those who are in prison will return to our communities. How are they going to come back to us? We know that one of the keys is education. And we know that it is a crucial counter model for their children. I want to go off script just a moment and tell you a little bit about my program, the St. Louis University Prison Program. It's a program that had an unlikely start, much as Ava's Grace Foundation had an unusual start. Mine was simply watching a segment of 60 Minutes and seeing university professors in prisons teaching undergraduate classes in a prison setting. I did not have exposure to the prison system. I didn't have an immediate reason for being involved with prisons. But something about that presentation made me conscious of the fact that my university's mission statement to live out the gospel mission, to be present to those who were at the margins of our communities, really struck a chord with me. And I began asking questions. The long and the short of it is that 8 months after I saw that segment on 60 Minutes, I found myself in a prison classroom, teaching a group of men at the state prison in Bonne Terre in a pilot theological certificate program. It was an extraordinary journey, much as Stephanie's journey has been. But it's a journey that's taught me some very important things. It's taught me the importance of caring about those that we so often seek to objectify in our prisons, to recognize their humanity and to recognize that we have a responsibility in our communities to find a way forward for them, for their children, and really, frankly, for ourselves. I had the privilege recently of having Judge Jimmy Edwards, who's one of the great supporters of this foundation, and who is also a member of our advisory board with the SLU prison program, and as well as the chief of police, Daniel Isom, traveled down with me to Bonne Terre to meet with our incarcerated students a few weeks ago. It was an extraordinary meeting. I have to confess that many of our students came to that class that day with a lot of apprehensions. As you can imagine, they haven't sat down and spoken with a judge and a chief of police in happy contexts. And so to be sitting at a table with men who represented a system that had judged and sentenced them to where they are today was something that they feared. But it was a very different experience than they imagined. Judge Jimmy Edwards grew up in Pruitt-Igoe. His mother was the one who raised him, who knew and loved him, and made certain that he stayed on the right track. But he even admitted in telling his story to the students in our program that there was a period when he was a boy when the possibility, the excitement of a different kind of life attracted him. And he sought out the local drug dealer in his community and asked to be a runner. And the drug dealer said, "You know, you're too bright for this. Stick with your education." And Judge Edwards said to the men around the table, "The reason why you're where you are and the reason why I'm where I am is, quite frankly, I didn't get caught." And he said, "I want to make a difference." It's the reason why he's involved in the development of his Innovative Concepts Academy, why he sees his charges, those who are under his judicial supervision in the Juvenile Court Division in St. Louis, through a different lens. He sees potential. He knows that they are not lost causes. He knows that their lives can be redeemed for good. It's an exciting thing to see a man in his position speaking with such compassion and so compellingly to men who are frankly in prison for murder, for violent acts, for sexual crimes, but to speak to them with a kind of care and concern that I found really quite remarkable and impressive. The Chief of Police, Daniel Isom, also spoke to this group. He spoke to them of the challenges that he feels as the chief of a city that makes approximately 30,000 arrests a year. He said over a 10-year period, that means that we make over 300,000 arrests. That's about the size of the population of the city of St. Louis. He said that's not the sign of a healthy community. We have to make a difference. He explained that was the reason why he was committed to be involved in something like the SLU prison program, and why he felt very strongly about the opportunity that it provided him to see a glimmer of hope in what often seems like a very distressed and distressing professional life. Why do I mention these things? What I found very moving was that the last half of that conversation around that table was a group of fathers talking about their children. All of them had one great concern, that they made certain that their children didn't end up in prison. The roles in society, their stations in life, they all evaporated. There was a common humanity, a common recognition that we love our children and we want their best. So that is why I find myself very excited today to be here in the presence of these two lovely young women. You know, one might well ask, what good is all this hard work that Stephanie did? After all, it's only 2 scholarships. There are thousands of children in need. A skeptic might well ask, is it really worth the effort and the time? We can lose heart in the face of so many who have needs. But as the Jewish Talmud reminds us, we know that when we save one life, it is like we have saved the whole world. Good. That's okay. I'll repeat that last line because I want to make certain you hear it. We can lose heart in the face of so many who need this kind of help, who need this kind of support. But I am deeply moved when I'm reminded by what the Jewish Talmud has to say to us, when it says that when we save one life, it is as if we've saved the whole world. We must never lose heart because our efforts seem to be only a beginning. We must carry away with us today the memory of these two young women, full of accomplishments in the face of great odds, and brimming with promise for a bright future. Carrie and Mackenzie, I hope you carry away a memory of this day as well. I hope that it will encourage you in dark times, will remind you of your promise and your giftedness, and will propel you on your journey in life. I do not need to lecture you about giving back. You already have learned that lesson. You have inspired us today and offer us hope for tomorrow. So today is a day to say to you, thank you for not giving up. Thanks for being a beacon of light for a world that needs your shining examples. My one great hope today is to follow your lead and to encourage your effort, to be encouraged by your efforts to change our world. The great theologian John Henry Newman put it this way: we shall find it difficult to estimate the moral power of a single individual trained to practice what she preaches, may acquire in her own circle in the course of years. Mackenzie and Carrie, be that moral force in our world. Make us better because of who you are. Thank you.
you so much, Dr. Parker. And I think here shortly, if not right away, he's going to have to leave to go marry some people. So that's kind of important too. So thank you again very much, Dr. Parker. Okay, now I'd really like to introduce you to a member of our board of directors who's going to present the video. Rick Dilley is another example of fate working in the favor of this foundation. Rick Dilley works at Millennium Productions and is the director of video production there. An acquaintance of mine from Mizzou named Chris Yest is the founder and owner of Millennium Productions here in St. Louis. And when we were having our open house event back in September of 2010, I reached out to Chris, as I have put my hand out so many times for this, and asked him if he would donate some hours to videotape our event that night to create some kind of marketing piece. And he said, sure, let me put you in touch with my video director, Rick Dilley. And the rest is history. Rick is another member of our board who has direct experience with incarceration. He's a devoted father of 4, and he's someone I really look up to. He's also an amazing video producer, which really is a good deal for us here at the foundation. So I'd like to ask Rick to come on up, and he is going to show you these girls.
Afternoon, everyone. How are we doing? Good. One more time, let's have a round of applause for Stephanie. I know you don't want to have the spotlight on you, but you started this whole thing, so you're going to have to take some recognition for it. So both Stephanie and Ken, they've pretty much said anything and everything that you could want to hear, and there's no way that I could follow that. But luckily for me, I speak better through my video than I do through my words. I just want to say really quickly, I had a chance last week to sit down and interview with these 2 girls, and I just want to say that there's no way in this world that we could have found 2 better scholars to kick this thing off. So another round of applause for them. So once those interview segments are finished, they'll be up on the website, and we'll send out blasts so everyone can see those. But the main purpose for the video that we're going to watch today is the idea was to kind of try and package this idea into some short visual, kind of like a movie trailer, if you will. And it was going to be narrated, and I was going to try and make my voice deeper and call me Nook Summer, but it just didn't work out. Luckily for me, the ladies kind of narrated it themselves, so it saved me a lot of work. Yeah, that's it. I hope you like it. Thank you.
My name is Mackenzie Lockett.
My name is Carrie Hill.
I try to be strong and stand up for myself. I try to speak up, but the words that don't come out. And I wander through these streets like a stranger in my world. Does anyone know this heart of mine?
Is all about giving you the support that you need, the support you felt like you may have lacked in life. Ava Grace is all about that.
It was such a great idea to decide to fund directly children of incarcerated parents. It is a difficult situation, and I think those children definitely need inspiration. And the Scholarship Foundation is definitely a good way to do that.
As a child whose parent is incarcerated, I sometimes feel as though I am just another statistic. Your foundation, Ava's Grace Foundation, has given me the strength, the power to keep moving on so I can make a difference. So thank you. If you are hesitant about filling out this application, my advice to you is don't be.
I would want them to definitely not be afraid to ask for help.
Let this application be your voice. Let it be the road to success. Fill it out and be confident.
I'd want them to know that there's more than one path and that they can choose their path if they really want to.
Am I the only one? Does anyone know this heart of mine? Oh, this heart of mine.
I was really lucky in that I got to see that, or the first cut of it, Thursday night. Jason and I huddled around our laptop really late at night. Rick worked really hard all week. He didn't finish the second interview until Sunday of Memorial Day weekend. And I'm really glad I got to see it. I was nervous I would cry, so I wanted to see it ahead of time, but really it just makes me smile. It's, again, the message of hope, the song. Oh, I'd never heard that song. It's amazing. So I want to thank Rick Dilley. I want to thank his partner, Tyrese, who helped in this and joined us here today. And I really want to thank Millennium Productions and Chris Yest, who allowed Rick to use equipment and his time to get this done in such short time. So please, again, let's recognize them. So, 2,708 days ago, I believe the stars aligned between myself, Carrie, and Mackenzie. On that day, my family began a journey that we did not choose, but one we faced head on in the only way we knew how. Carrie and Mackenzie, by my calculations, you were only about 11 years old back then. And I know you were going through your own version of life's twists and turns that make us strive to be who we are today. But those things do not define us. The events of the last 7.5 years do not define me, nor my family, nor does the adversity you have faced in your life define you. In fact, you will write your own script. Ava's Grace just hopes to be the highlighter, the blue highlighter, in your book. So let's meet these two. First, I have to say that I find it only appropriate that our first class is 2 girls. I know they are young ladies, so please let me explain. Growing up, I was an only child, but my mom was a coach and a teacher. She was my softball coach in summers, and my teammates were her girls. She was a volleyball coach at Truman State University, and those girls were her girls. On my mom's side of the family, she only has nieces, and I, along with those girls, are her girls. So while a rigorous selection process brought us to you two, I am so excited to have my own girls. Let me say that while we had exceptional candidates, I know that these 2 young ladies are the exact right 2. I want you to know that both of these young women have the unwavering support of their families, and that is so, so important. Additionally, you would not believe the praise these women have received from their high schools, and that is evidenced today by all of the people here from both Princeton High School, including the principal, and so many people from Webster High School, and I think that that's wonderful. In fact, their counselors, when I called them, were almost excited as the girls were. They were really, they're the shining stars of their high schools. The principal that showed up here today really struck me because I know you have a lot of other students, Principal Angie, I know you have a lot of other students who are undoubtedly receiving scholarships, and you probably have other things to do on your Saturday, and I just think it says worlds about how you felt about Mackenzie, and to have a whole table full of people from Webster is just amazing. So last, before we meet them, I just want to express the special place in my heart that the class of 2012 will always hold as our first class. You will never have another first class, and this is our first class. So ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to tell you about Carrie Hill, Miss Carrie Hill from Webster High School. She's been accepted and plans to attend William Jewell College in the fall in Liberty, Missouri. She had several options and chose William Jewell, and I'm very, very excited that she's staying here in Missouri. That was not a qualification in our application process, but it was important to me that we support Missouri schools and where these girls end up going. She's received many awards and accolades in school and in extracurricular activities, and Dr. Parker went into a lot of the detail on that. I mean, you just can't even list the different things that these girls have been into, and I wanted to read a portion of a letter of recommendation that came in Carrie's packet, because to me, I mean, it really says it all. Dear Scholarship Committee, I will write nearly 100 letters of recommendation this year. I will use a lot of adjectives like extraordinary, excellent, and impressive. I will write about some of the best scholars, athletes, artists, philanthropists, and leaders that have ever walked the halls of our 100-plus-year-old high school. I will try to convey my respect and admiration for these students to their prospective colleges. However, none of these will be more sincere. This is because Carrie Hill is special. I've met literally thousands of kids in my 17 years in education, and none of them have meant more to me than Carrie has. Enough said. Carrie, would you mind joining me on stage for just a little bit? Carrie, we at Avis Grace Scholarship Foundation will be awarding you a $5,000 scholarship in the coming year to support your journey in higher education. This scholarship is renewable for 4 years. You do have to come back to us and chat with us every now and again, but it is an ongoing scholarship. I do have a little surprise for you, and I'm going to ask Maria of the Scholarship Foundation to also join me on stage.
Hi everyone, my name is Maria Rebecki and I'm the Director of Programs at the Scholarship Foundation. I won't tell you much about the Scholarship Foundation other than for 93 years the foundation has been providing interest-free loans and grants and emotional support to students, low-income students and first-generation students to attend school. We usually award around 600 students for $3.6 million in interest-free loans and grants. Now, the grants are selected by the Board of Directors as they're reading applications. We usually award only between 15 and 20, and it's to recognize those students that despite adversity, they have persisted in their goals and their dreams. So in recognition of that persistence, Carrie actually applied this year to the Scholarship Foundation. We want to award you with $5,000 in interest-free loans plus $5,000 in Bravo grants, which are also renewable as long as you continue on your educational journey. So congratulations. And I just want to say one more thing. Can you picture a bird of paradise flower? Can you all do? I have a picture just in case. I didn't know it a long time ago. So, after reading your application, that's the first image that came to mind. And so, to me, it stands out of all others because of its bright colors and looks like a bird in flight. It means joyfulness, freedom, magnificence, good perspective. All of you represent those qualities. Wear your colors proudly, bloom where you're planted, and set strong roots to build a community around you. Congratulations.
So Carrie, a little token of our appreciation. I wasn't sure what to get these girls. What do you get them? I know at 18 I didn't really care to have a snow globe, but it's a really cool one that has some great quotes. It has her name, taking flight, and class of 2012. We also picked you up a little something from William Jewell. That is something I wanted when I was on my way to Mizzou. So this is for you. Okay, now, ladies and gentlemen, on to Mackenzie. Mackenzie Lockett is from Princeton High School in Princeton, Missouri. I have to tell you, Mackenzie, I am thrilled to have someone from rural Missouri. I grew up in Kirksville, which people from real small towns say is not a small town. But our farm is in a really small town. I'm also really thrilled to have someone going to my alma mater, the University of Missouri. And again, you'll think that, I cheated on finding these girls, but I didn't. Again, fate. But that is why this is a statewide opportunity. I wanted kids from small towns to find us. There were many reasons that this should probably only be a St. Louis opportunity. I live here, most of the board is here, it's easier to network here, but it was important to me, and we found you, so I'm just thrilled. Mackenzie was also a rock star in high school and involved in many different things that Dr. Parker went over, so I'm not going to go through so many of the specifics, but I did find one interesting, the Family, Career, and Community Leaders of America, which I had not heard of. She is actually an officer of. And when you think about that, family, career, and community, that is a lot of what this foundation is about promoting, and it's just really cool to me that that is one of your chosen activities. She's been involved in many different volunteer activities. From her letters of recommendation, what I got is that she is just in general on top of all the things that she does so well. She is just a good girl, and I don't really think a lot of people would have said that about me at 18, so I think that that's really great. Anyway, I want to read a little bit from one of her letters of recommendation as well. Mackenzie is an extremely likable individual. She's kind to others and has a gentle, mild-mannered personality. In all the years I've known her, she's been steadfast in exhibiting the behaviors one desires from a student: respectful attitude, positive demeanor, sincerity, and drive. She is actively engaged in school activities which require a high degree of responsibility. She is continuous in giving her best effort in the classroom and in student organizations, as well as serving as an asset to our athletic programs. Most importantly, Mackenzie is a scholar. She is dedicated to her personal goals and dreams in a way that is inspiring to all those around her. Sounds like a perfect fit for Ava's Grace. Mackenzie, would you please join me on stage? Mackenzie, we at Ava's Grace will be awarding you with $5,000 this coming year in your journey in higher education at the University of Missouri, Columbia. This funding is renewable on an annual basis for 4 years, and we look forward to supporting you in that endeavor. We also have a surprise for you. In addition to our $5,000 annual support of your education, we have collaborated with one of our board members' employers, as well as some classmates of mine from Mizzou, to cover your off-campus housing costs in your sophomore, junior, and senior years. We also have a snow globe for Miss Mackenzie, as well as some fun stuff from Mizzou. So. Ladies and gentlemen, let's have a final large round of applause for these two girls. Carrie and Mackenzie will be provided with a mentor in the community in which they're going to school. We'll work together with them to identify a person that they feel comfortable with and are excited about. And we already have some people in mind, so we're really excited to get that laid out this summer. This person will make a commitment to walk with them throughout their journey in higher education. That is what a true effective mentor should do. Additionally, Ava's Grace will work with these two girls to identify local charities or local volunteer opportunities and actually do activities with them once a semester. We have a little piece of our program called the Pay It Forward program, and it's all about these girls do not need any assistance in volunteer work, but I think it's really a cool idea to do this kind of thing with them as a board, their mentors, and just to stay engaged with them and do fun. Oh, I didn't even know that was going off. Okay, strobe light. So anyway, the Pay It Forward program we're very excited about, and we will get all of those details in line. After they start school and get settled in, there's no need to push that sort of thing in the beginning, but that is something we're very excited about. Carrie McKenzie, we are so excited to wrap our arms around you and lift you up and send you off. And we hope to walk with you in this journey, and I just want you to know you carry the hopes and dreams of so many in this room with you. And we are here for you. And to me personally, you represent a silver lining of the past 7.5 years, and I want to thank you for that. And I want to thank all of you for joining us here today at our first annual Taking Flight ceremony. It's kind of over at this time, and I wish you all a great and safe trip home, but I do want to ask the board and the families and the school supporters of these two ladies to please join us over here. We're going to be taking some photos. For the rest of you, have a wonderful afternoon and a wonderful summer, and we look forward to your continued support and participation in the foundation. Thank you so much.